Thanks for joining us today on The Perfect X. My name is Sherry, and this is my co host Lee.
Hello, everyone.
And today we're going to talk about online bloopers, which
Y-
kind of like what was that show we saw watching when we were kids? American's Funny Video,
Oh yeah,
whatever.
God, you're old.
we are,
What is it that
we're old.
wasn't it? The one that Bob Saget hosted, right?
Yeah,
America's
yeah, it was
Funniest
in
Home
American.
Videos. Is that what it was?
I,
Something.
I think so. I think it's called Funniest Home
Yeah,
Videos.
there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, yeah. But those were the original. That was the original.
Yeah, to get like a video camera out and mail your cassette tape into the TV station.
Yeah, yeah, that it's on. But now people just embarrass themselves 24/7 online.
God bless technology.
And I guess we're gonna go over some messages that I get. The good thing is we are having another single girl who's online next week, which is
hmm
your friend. Surprisingly, you have another friend.
I don't know if friend's a strong word.
And then after that, we're gonna ask her questions, and after that, we're gonna have a guy friend of mine, and ask him the same questions, and then we'll kind of compare like each one's perspective.
hmm
Um, but for now, we're just gonna go over messages I get and kind of, I guess, coach people on what not to do, and I guess let Lee rip into whatever he liked to.
I just had a quick look and it was horrifying. So some of them, I'm like, you're just taking the piss out of people. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Sometimes, I mean, I didn't even want to because I don't want to be like canceled out. But sometimes, like if I'm in a bad mood, I do rip into people. Like these aren't my bad ones. Like I've gotten to the point where I've said some pretty horrible things because one time a guy told me, "Bitch, answer me," and
Wow.
it just lit me. It's like all that stuff that I've like trained myself not to say the last 10 years, like unleashed. But so these are not the worst, but these were online shareable, I guess.
Yeah, some of them I wonder, is there like a lot of like spam and like ads and stuff on Tinder or whatever this is?
Well, what's really crazy is like I know for a fact a lot of guys, I have a lot of guy friends, and this has always happened for them. There was always bots.
Mm.
And they were for females or they were scams. There was a lot of scams. Like I had a guy friend where like he was buying Apple cards, like when back in the day when that scam was going on, like
Oh yeah.
those gift cards. Like he had a girl from that. And there was a lot of I heard like during COVID cryptocurrency scams.
hmm
And I actually just watched a documentary on this on Trafficked, and it's kind of funny because I actually do know a guy where this happened, where a girl said like send me naked pictures, and then they crack into your Facebook and threaten to post it on your Facebook.
Mm.
And that my guy friend, he was like, I don't care, post it. So he never he never gave it. They never gave it any money.
Yeah.
But there's actually people who've like killed themselves because of these scammers.
hmm
It's nuts. Like it's definitely a big field for scamming, but only recently, I would say since like AI, have I seen it in the women's side. And it could have always been there, but it's just I've newly experienced it. And you start to see the same face like over and over again,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
same guy, different name,
It's
and
funny
they
that
all
just like as a society we've decided men are dumber, so we might as well scam them, because like
yeah,
you said, I imagine most of it's not geared towards women, and
it's true though. It's true. Like we have it's true. Like I've heard of the guys having this problem for years.
hmm
And I haven't seen any cryptocurrency ones for myself. Maybe there could be. I don't get too far into the conversation. Like it's pretty obvious. Like
yeah.
the first one, and they all start with the same thing. They compliment you. They'll be like, "Oh, you have beautiful eyes," and then they're like, "I've lived in LA for 7 years." They all say 7 years, and I have like an uncle here and a cousin or something stupid. Like it's the same message. But
Oh yeah.
I find out like my first question to anybody is, "Did you grow up in LA?" And I always right off the bat know if they're a scam or not because the scammer always says the same thing.
Oh okay.
They have like a script or something.
Yeah.
But now I don't even match with them because it's the same fucking faces. There's like 10 faces they rotate.
I always just wonder what the end game is, but like you say, if it's a cryptocurrency thing or if it's something like they wouldn't do it if it didn't work once in a while. Yeah.
I know for the guys, I can only speak for what I know for the guys. It's money, like it's
hmm
the naked photos. I've known that one happens, and I do know the cryptocurrency, and I know the gift cards like from back in the day.
Who's
In
sending
the
naked pictures to people they've never met?
People do it. People do it. I have girlfriends that do it too. They do it.
It's. I mean, I don't know. I guess if your face isn't in it or something, but I still don't understand like why
I
you would.
agree with you. I agree with you. It's ballsy. It's
Yeah.
ballsy.
Mhm.
It's like a level of it's like a level of risk that's just not worth it. Like, it's too big of a risk for a
Yeah.
rando, you know what I it's not even
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm not judging you for doing I don't care if you do it, like, all power to you, like, do whatever you want in your sex life, but why do it with someone you have no idea who the fuck that person is?
That's all I'm saying. Yeah, like
Yeah.
if you've never met them, you don't even know if they exist or something. I say, what do you? Have you seen that thing going around about that AI account on Instagram where it's like an AI model and she's come up with like 11 million followers or something crazy like that?
But that's what it's like, that's the thing,
Yeah.
that's how these AI guys like, what I was gonna say, like, I don't know what the end game is for the females because I've never had like my conversation as soon as they say like 7 years, but I'm like, oh, that's another
Yeah.
fake account. Like I've never had the conversation, but I'm assuming it's money too.
It's
I'm
got to be.
assuming it's
Yeah. Like that's
working.
what else would it be really? But
But I wonder if I mean, exactly like I wonder even like people. I know a lot of people have had conversations with people, but they don't have video conversations. Even then, like, why are you sending money to someone you can't verify it's that person?
yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
So
But again, it must work on some level, so they obviously keep doing it because they only need to get one in a million.
yeah, I mean, I've seen it work for the gift cards, and that one I remember telling my friend, like, "Well, why hasn't she FaceTimed with you?" And he's like, "Because her camera's broken, that's why she needs the Apple gift card." I was like, "Oh my
There you
god."
go. These people are out there, and I think it comes from an honest place. If the person's honest and doesn't assume the worst of everybody, I suppose you could easily scam them. Or
I know, but we're, like, in 2024, like, at this point, if you don't have a working iPhone,
yeah,
you
do you
can't
remember?
you can't video
Do you ever see on Facebook? It's like there'll be something like, oh, only like really super smart people with an IQ of like 160 can like read this, and it's like something anyone could read, right? Have you ever seen them? But I remember my parents, because they're such boomers, they're like on Facebook and they're like, what? My dad's like, what is this? Like, I can read it. Your mom can read it. Like, is what? It obviously isn't like he was leery of it. He's like, it's obviously not like a true thing. I'm like, no, dad, it's horse shit for boomers to be like, oh, I can read it. I can read it. They're all typing in the comments, right? So anyway, he was onto it, but he's like, that's strange. Like, it's clearly, or they'll, it's something to get engagement. Like, they'll be like, oh, no name starts with A and ends with A, and then all these boomers are chiming in with all these names that do, and
I
it's
have
something
bad
to.
news, it's not just boomers. I sometimes I'm like, "Well, who does start with an 8?"
But yeah, it's like it's always something dumb, and I've noticed too. Like people will use the wrong. I know you spell like a spastic cat, but like some of the people they'll use the wrong your, which like drives me mental. And
I
everyone,
spell it wrong.
people like me are in the comments like, you're a fucking idiot. And I'm like, someone pointed out, it's like it's spelt wrong deliberately to generate activity on the post.
Well, actually, also too, something else when I did some research on these scammers, I was like, I think it was at a traffic show. They also said that they purposely spell things wrong just to see if someone catches it, and if not, they could like online for dating and stuff.
Yeah.
If not, they're like, oh, this person doesn't get it, and they just keep talking to them.
Hmm.
Because, like, for instance, they just assume that this person's so naive. Like, they purposely go out of their way. Like, you maybe like will notice, and so you won't be such a naive person and you'll start questioning them, but someone else who's like more just open to the situation may just accept every situation, like every conversation the way it is, and they do it on purpose.
Hmm.
So it's interesting that for those things that they do it for a conversation, and for scammers they do it to see if you're dumb enough to continue talking.
Yeah, and then these other posts, it's literally just to get engagement, and it like puts it up the algorithm chain or something like with more comments and more, even if it's negative comments saying that you spelled it wrong or whatever, it's generates
So funny.
traffic on that post, and that's what
Yeah.
people have pointed out. Like it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, as long as there's activity on this post, it gets the thing moved up the algorithm. So that's why it's spelt. Some things are misspelled on purpose, or that type of something, anything to engage. I've always thought, oh, I'm going to blast this person for spelling it wrong, and I'm like, no, it's all contributing to the algorithm thing.
That's so crazy.
Not
I
that
never
I
knew
don't look
that.
into it a lot, but I have some recently. I was looking at that, and I was like, oh, it's funny, all these are coming up misspellings like deliberately, and everyone in the comments is flaming them, and then some people are like, oh, it's deliberate to get you to comment like you are now and like I am now, and so that's interesting. There's obviously a whole world of people that research that type of stuff and try to find a way to extort people or do whatever they do. There's always some opportunist out there.
Always, always. But I mean, they're mostly like in countries, it's a company. Like one of the things I saw, they're like actual companies and they give them scripts. And that's why you really get the same message over and over. It's like a bunch of people talking to one person, even.
Yeah, yeah.
It's nuts. Well, listen, Webster.
Anything else you want to know about?
Let's start with the first one. So this, I'm on so many different dating apps. So the first one is,
I assume
I
you've
don't
never
even.
met this person.
I've never met any of
None
these
of them, right?
people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
This one, none of them. I think this guy wrote on a like a Tinder or something, and
Yeah.
he wrote in Persian.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I said, "Dude, fuck off." But I
Yeah, that
did.
was the first thing you said. I was like, I knew it wasn't. I was like, it's strange to see it written in Persian, but not in the Persian script, right? It's like in
So
English, like in Eng.
English, Persian, English, and I think I couldn't read it, and whatever it means that I still can't read it. My girlfriend probably read it for me, or my sister, or my mom, and it obviously set me off because I said, "Dude, fuck off." So
There's
whatever
something
he
in here about
said,
rebate females that I can just looking for a discount.
yeah, and mistress.
Oh yeah,
I'm assuming maybe he's just looking for a mistress. But the point of this one was, you don't even fucking know if I speak Persian or English, and you already started speaking to me in a different language.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and saying something off. So in general, I noticed this, like, if I like, I think I have to speak French on mine. I know on this one I don't on this app because it set me off right away, but
Huh.
I don't think anyone should write a message in anything other than English if that's the language that you both share off the bat. I
Well,
just
plus
think
there's a
it's a
lot of
little bit.
people with different ethnic backgrounds that don't speak the language. Like just because you have
And
a Persian name doesn't mean you speak Persian.
exactly, and I get a lot of that, like, I speak Persian, but I don't know what this says, and I actually just find it very irritating, and I'm the reason I brought this one up is because I usually won't even respond. He obviously said something that set me off, so it was probably rude, but I just find it annoying in general, like, don't fucking come out with me with another language because, that's just gonna make me either have to ask you, "What are we talking about?" or, like, "Can you speak English?" Like, I
Yeah.
don't know where you're at, it's just irritating, so that's just a pointer for people. um, but it does continue. So he did say something wrong because then he goes, "Well, if you don't have, well, you don't want to have somebody to worship you, that's fine."
It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Oh, this is an app where he sent a message and we didn't even match because it says, "If I was interested in you, we would have matched, not you sending me random messages."
Yeah. So is this like a
And
swipe left and right bullshit, or is that something else?
but I must have not swiped. So I think it's that Persian app actually. This is probably not Tinder. And the Persian app, they can message you without even matching with you.
Hmm. Well,
And then he
so
continues to
hang
message.
on. This is a Persian app, and you're up in arms about him shooting you a message in Persian.
Yeah, yeah, I am.
I'm
I
waving a
am. I
flag
don't
on
know why
display.
but it sets
It's
me
a
off. I don't know
goddamn Persian
why.
app. Like I think he's. Fuck's sake.
But I can't read in Persian and it
What are
always
you doing on this
irritates me.
Persian date fucking thing?
I know, especially since I don't
Christ.
really date
Only you
Persians.
would get
I
mad about
know.
someone speaking Persian on a Persian app. All right,
I
let's
know,
go
and
to the
I
next one.
was, and I was. But he kept on messaging, so that's what's annoying.
This guy,
So
fucking guy.
okay, this guy, well, we'll say it. This guy, so just to listen to our readers, he writes like four fucking paragraphs on
Yeah,
what
what
he
the
thinks
fuck is this?
he describing his iconic date. And the reason I brought this one up is because I just said, "Hey, how's it going?" And he went on to tell me his entire life story.
Yeah, that was
He said,
fucked.
"Hello, Sherry. Nice to meet you. I think every first date has to be tailored to the individual recipient. For instance, I would want to get to know you, know what you like to get, know what you like a little bit before I would plan something specific to you." And it keeps on fucking going.
This guy's a fucking idiot. Give your head a shake, pal. You sound like a fucking simp.
It is a simp thing, but it's just a little nuts. Like, the reason I think this is important for a listener to know, you don't need to, like, throw up on your first message.
Yeah, like holy
Like,
fuck.
just keep it short and simple. Like, this goes for 3 more paragraphs. Like,
Yeah, you see this on. So we talked about this before, but you see these guys in the comment section on social media. It's usually on some OnlyFans girls page or something. But it's like, dude, give it a rest. Like you're just embarrassing yourself.
it is embarrassing. Like, I felt like he goes on to say, like, iconic would be like an element of spontaneity. I can never even say that word.
Spontaneous. Yeah, what a stupid, iconic. Get the fuck out of here.
Some travel in there would be probably be good. If I were I can't even speak English now. If I were to go completely wild, I would say go to Burbank Airport, buy a random restaurant. First of all, let me be very clear to everyone listening. Burbank Airport only goes to a few destinations. So it's not like he's saying like we'll end up going to Europe. He's like saying
Yeah.
we're gonna go to Vegas, Arizona, round trip. So like $65 flights.
This guy's something else.
Spirit Airlines. Yeah.
Yeah, you get a in-flight meals, a parachute. Yeah, it sounds like the jam. It's just
Oh,
too comes across too too like over the top, you know.
it is too much. And I think it's really important for people to know this. Like if someone say, "Hey, how's it going?" Stick to the topic.
Yeah.
Just to get back.
What's wrong? Hey, you want to grab a drink? Want to grab a coffee? Like, be a normal fucking person. Don't start talking all this nonsense.
Or like he could have started with, "Nice to meet you. I'm doing great. How are you?" That's where he could have just,
It's
stopped
like he
at.
had this script like
Oh,
copy
copy and
paste.
paste.
Yeah, he's just
100%.
like, I'm gonna let this
100%.
fly, and then what a donkey. We should.
100%.
You could
100%.
definitely use these guys' names because it's only the first name, and it's not like they're probably even their real name.
That's true. That's true.
No, I
But
won't.
I won't either. I don't want to get fucked. The other one, I don't know if you saw, but I sent both scripts. Okay, so, wait. So we should just wrap this up. So people, when you're listening, just keep it simple in the beginning. The first few messages. If someone asks you a question like, "What is your first ideal date?" Then yes, throw up your first ideal date. But it looked corny as fuck. It looked copy and pasted. I didn't even respond.
Yeah, you could just
So
something short and sweet, like yeah, I don't know, like whatever. But it doesn't have to be like this situation where, like you say, it's several paragraphs. Like just be a normal person. I think it's important to do more asking of questions than it is to rifle on about how fucking great you are or
it
how
is.
iconic your first date would be. Like, get the fuck out of here.
It is because also like it. I've seen this a lot, and I do see this a lot. I've had a lot, and I don't know if this is an LA thing because I really don't know, so I can't speak on everything. But in LA, a lot of times guys will be on like the first, second messages. Do you want to go to Vegas? And it's like, okay, you're just letting me know that you could pay for my flight. I'm not that desperate. I can also pay for that $120 flight. Like it's sometimes there's flights to Vegas for like $60 round trip.
Yeah, yeah.
Second of all, I'm not that desperate. This is not the Tinder swindler. Like I'm not jumping on a flight with some rando and
Was
going
this that
anywhere. Like
same app, that Persian app? It looks
that one, no,
different.
that's
Yeah.
the only one that I've
Oh, what's
used
the
on that.
one we're
I
looking
don't
at right now?
actually
Is it
use that.
Tinder?
The one we're looking at now is Bumble. You can see the
Uh,
yellow. Yeah. And on Bumble, I have to message first. So he responded. So I said, "Hey, how's it going?" It's always my what I say.
hmm.
And he responded with this throw up of a text of our iconic first date at Burbank Airport.
What a donkey. It just smacks of desperation. That's all I think. But it's like, dude, just be a normal person. Don't be a fucking wiener.
I don't know any girl who's actually genuinely interested in someone or interested in dating someone that would respond to such a message
Yeah,
because it seems fake. It seems bullshit. I don't want my first interaction with someone to be a vacation.
yeah, that's
So
crazy.
it's just so desperate, so thirsty. It's needing attention and it doesn't in any way make me want to feel connected and continue a conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
So it just feels like he threw a bunch of darts on the board. He's probably copy pasted to 20 girls. If one of them says yes, great, they'll be at Burbank Airport. you
Yeah,
know,
I think to your point though, like don't overdo it, and I think ask more questions is important than just vomiting on for 20 minutes about some bullshit, right? Like try and I would just like you say have some banter back and forth, ask some questions, and try to get. I would try to get more out of the person than I'm trying to give of myself and tell you my whole life story. I'd rather ask questions of that person, right? And give them a chance to say something and get a better feel for what you're all about. Because this peppering you with a 4-page deal is just puts you off.
it's really interesting you say that because I also like vice versa. Like, I mean, not vice versa, but like another aspect of that is, and I see this a lot. And I don't know if it's because like some men don't have communication skills.
Hmm.
But I know, and I have me and another girlfriend who this is like, as soon as we see this, we're done the conversation. Whereas you're like, "Hey, how's it going?" They're like, "Great, thanks. What have you been up to?" "Great. What made you move to LA?" They tell you, and
Hmm.
then they're like, and then you're like, "What do you do?" And then they start talking about their job, but then they never say, "And what about you?" And then they're like, you ask about their family, they tell you about their family, they never say, "And then what about you?"
Yeah,
They tell
yeah,
you ask about your weekend. It's only the conversation if you isn't about them, it just ends. And so then you stop messaging. And a lot of times I'm like, after I've asked you 3 times and you're not also asking me about myself, like not that I
yeah,
want to talk about myself, but it just doesn't show that you're interested. You only want to talk about you.
yeah,
Like, unless you're gonna ask me about my family or why I'm here too, then you're clearly only wanting a conversation about yourself and you're not even trying to get to know me. So
yeah,
then that conversation will die. And usually with those people, like I'll just stop asking and then they'll come back and another day, and they'll be like, "Oh, how's your day going?" And you're like, "Great. What about you?" And they'll be like, again, only about themselves. And it's like,
Yeah.
I can never tell if it's a lack of social skills, but I wouldn't think so. Like, I think it's pretty common sense that when someone is interacting with you, you should also be interested in them as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I
And
don't know. I mean, obviously, I've never done online dating, but I think that just even in, like, a normal conversation, I try to remember like, people will ask me something, and I always try to remember, "So what's new with you?" at the end, right? Like, instead of just ranting on for 20 minutes. But, yeah, I don't know. There's just every walk of life out there, and you don't know people, like, what they consider normal. If these people are, like, maybe they work from home or they don't socialize a lot or something, like, they may not have those social cues that other people would have.
but what it does come off as is selfish,
Yeah.
and it does come off as disinterest. Like, it
Mhm.
comes off as, like, someone because there you also have to keep in mind, and I hear this actually a lot more from my male friends, that a lot of girls will just talk a lot on these apps, but they never actually wanna meet up.
Yeah.
And so, on the other side, like, as a girl, I feel like, oh, the guy just wants to talk about himself and meet up and get laid if he's
Mhm.
not asking anything else about you, you
Mhm.
know? So it
Yeah.
comes off disinterested, and it comes off antisocial and selfish. It just has a lot of bad connotation.
Mhm.
And like you said, exactly, like in an everyday life, if you bump into someone and they go on and on about themselves and they never also show interest, then you're like, fuck, this person is just here using me for like a reason to talk, you
Right,
know,
yeah, yeah, just
about
yeah,
themselves.
how great they are, or and that that's a whole other subject, but that's like a lack of confidence thing on their end too, if they're
Y-
trying to just pump themselves up. And that might be like an internet thing where you've only got a few minutes to, like, get your foot in the door, maybe they're just trying to unload everything at once.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, fuck them all.
Um, okay, the next one is Tinder. This is Tinder, but it actually, I posted the pictures to you by,
Yeah,
I mean, the
this guy's a
messages by
fucking
accident.
donkey too.
This drove me fucking insane. I know I've brought this up before. A lot of times, guys will lie about their age online, and I know girls who do it too. I actually have a girlfriend who's done it.
But
So
to what end? Like, you're gonna eventually find out if you end up dating the person. Obviously, the truth's gonna come out, so
I had a guy that I told him like I can't stand liars. He's like, "Oh my god, me too." Blah blah blah. And then at the end of our date, he told me he had a kid, and he was like 12 or 15. I feel like almost 17 years older than he said he was, and I thought he looked older.
mhm.
But I was like, me, like you can't tell someone like you actually look older than you
Yeah.
say. But he wasn't like too much. Like he actually looked maybe like 5. He actually looked great for his age. Like I would say, like I thought he was 5 years older. He was like significantly older than he was. So people do that a lot. So I do ask now, how old are you? But
Yeah.
this fucker was so arrogant. He said he put himself as 45, everyone, but his real reason was he's 49. And then I said, to him, I said, "There's a reason you put." Oh, I said, "Why did you lie about your age or whatever? How old are
Mhm.
you?" And then he goes, um, "I'm 49. The profile says 45. You have to set that, set it at that." He can't even speak English.
Mhm.
Set it that he wrote, or the algorithm keeps feeding you cougars. So he's saying, "I don't want fucking old women."
He's saying,
That's what
"I don't
he's
want
saying.
people my age," which is old.
Yes, yes.
That's
And then I said, "There's a reason I put 45 as there's a reason you put 45 as your age and I put 45 as my max. You're avoiding cougars, I'm avoiding old men." And I normally wouldn't say something so rude, but how the fuck do you have the balls
Yeah.
to say that a girl your age is old
Yeah,
and
like, "I don't
you're
want
not
the
interested?
disgusting old woman my age. Get the fuck outta here."
Yeah, and then be
Fucking
like
idiot.
and then think but then at the same time, so I was like, "Well, fuck you, I didn't I 45 was my max, like, I didn't want a 49-year-old man,"
What's this
you
fucking
know?
guy doing on? Shouldn't he be out playing canasta or something? Like, what's he fucking doing on a
Well,
dating app at
he's so
fucking 50?
full of
Chaperoning?
yeah.
Fucking clown. Gonna get a
That
quick
is true.
episode of Matlock in before bed at 4:30.
Fuck, I know, and then he looked actually older than 49, hence why
I
I
can't
asked.
quite see, like, but I can tell, like, he looks like an off-season Santa Claus in a fucking little tiny thumbnail, but I can't really see his face.
Yes, he does look like an off-season Santa Claus, a fit off-season. He looks like
What?
that Santa Claus you see that got off the diet, but probably on Ozempic and got off the cookies.
Anybody that's
But
like, "I'm 6'3", 200 pounds and in good shape," fuck off. Nobody cares.
yeah, he
Like, what
then
a fucking
justifies it for his age, right?
fuck, man. I hope I'm that fucking fit when I'm 200 years old, you fucking prick.
Gotta
Oh.
gotta get on the Ozempic.
You got to edit out a bunch of my fucking swearing. I just, like, I can't get I don't
No, it's okay. I want you to swear.
you're just
But
trying
then
to get me mad. This is like every time you're like, "Oh, look at this stupid thing." I speaking slight sidebar. You're always bitching about my clothes. I got home from work and I put on like a clean gray hoodie, but it's still like my usual trash setup, but it's new. And I go to meet one of my work buddies just to grab something off him, and I got fucking like shit grease on my only clean light colored hoodie. So I'm like,
I
fucking
was just I
Sherry, I'm
didn't even
fucking telling her about this because it's her fault. She's like, shit happens other than black, and now I got like a big grease stain on my one clean hoodie.
I was just gonna say, is this the only time you've ever worn gray? Because I've only ever seen you in black.
This is like my going out get up. It's the exact same as all my other get ups, but the hoodie's gray instead of black. But now it's got a
There,
fucking stripe on it. But
give it to Taryn. There's like stuff to get grease out.
yeah, what was my point? I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, moving
That you
on.
wore something but black on
Yeah,
Valentine's Day.
yeah.
You
And
wore,
I
you
fucking
wore gray.
it was dirty. I was in it for 5 minutes. And it was dirty. Anyway,
God, imagine if you ever wore white. The
never.
issues you'd have.
Mm-mm. Oh, what's this guy? Oh, this guy. The next guy here is like some call center type guy here.
Oh yeah, go for it. You want to read it?
How's it going? Good morning, beautiful cock. And
I
you are.
hate when they say that. I
And you
fucking
go,
always say
how are
beautiful
you?
babe.
Just the letters are you because you're a busy woman. You got no time for full letters, full words. We spoke before. I ask to be your personal servant. And then that was
No
March
response.
26th. No response. April 16th. Good morning, beautiful. No response. April 21st. Queen. Great band. Odd opening. I don't know what that's about. And then that's it. Is there more of this? Nope. That was it. Just radio silence.
I finally matched them. But I mean, come on, what did you think was gonna happen? Like
Like,
I
yeah,
would
that's
respond and say, yes, I'm looking for a servant. I mean, I am.
good. Yeah, but yeah, just get the horse
I
before the
wasn't
cart
gonna put
here.
it in. I wasn't
Good
gonna put it in
morning,
writing.
beautiful. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, come on now. He looks like
Well,
a fancy boy, but
here's another thing. So I also the reason why I wanted to bring up, besides the fact that he's corny and disgusting,
mm,
um, are two things.
he
The
looks like he has a booth
beautiful.
selling cell phone covers at the mall.
I swear to God, I probably think he does. I think I've seen him
Yeah, it looks like it.
there.
Yeah. It looks like
But
he
here,
wears too much cologne.
he does. That's for sure. That I mean, you could tell. That's a
Mm-hmm.
Middle Eastern guy if I've seen one.
He's a guy's got like an $18 an hour job, and he wears like a $500 suit to his job for some reason.
And like a $600 bottle of cologne he sprays on himself. Trust
Yeah.
that he looks like the type. But here's the thing: like calling a girl babe, I'll usually message back, "Babe's a pig,"
Yeah, that's a good one.
beautiful, sexy, like these type of things. Like, what do you think? We're just sitting here waiting to be called, catcalled? Like, this is just fucking dumb.
Yeah.
The rest, the servants and that kind of shit, and continuing to message. And queen, what am I supposed to say? Like, yes, now that you called me queen, I'm gonna respond. Like, what
Yeah, yeah.
the fuck?
Fucking got all the moves. That's strange. It is strange. Like, it's all just, I don't know if this is like the culture on there. It's everyone's just over the top and like just throwing as much at the wall to see what sticks or something. But yeah, I don't know.
But
It's
why?
just, it almost seems like
Why
a
would?
bot, like it doesn't even make sense, right?
Why would calling us like a pathetic thing like I like, don't get me wrong, if I had a boyfriend, I would love to be called babe,
Yeah, but not
beautiful,
like out the
whatever.
fucking gate, right?
As some rando.
Yeah.
This is just like copy and pasting other, like, how many other girls did you just send that message to today? Like, you know what
Yeah,
I
it
mean?
comes across like that exactly, just like a number. I can't help but think people on these it's just a big numbers game, and they're just, I don't know. I've never been on a dating thingy, so it's very
It is
strange.
a numbers game. It is a numbers game. And the thing is, you don't, at the same time, every time you connect with someone, you don't want to make them feel like a number. And calling some girl babe, beautiful,
Yeah,
in
it's
your
very
first fucking
generic.
message
Yeah,
is generic as it gets. And there's no way to even respond to that. like,
yeah.
you know, I really just feel like the only way to respond is either to ignore them or just not acknowledge it.
And then
Babe, I always
after a
say
certain amount of time, can they no longer message you, or do you have to like block them or something?
you have to like remove them.
Hmm.
That guy can continue forever.
Is
I have
he
got,
this wasn't all. This was last year. Yeah, March 25th. Yeah.
yeah.
A donkey. Let's move on to this chap at the bottom here. See, he started out. So let's see. I'm trying to find which one's you because I know where there's
I'm the
spelling
yellow.
mistakes.
How's it going? I mean, that's always me. I'm yellow. These are all
So
Bumble.
you started this? You opened a conversation with this guy?
Bumble, you have to. So
Oh,
Bumble,
right. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So if it's yellow, it's Bumble. It's
I'm
me.
trying to look at his profile. What the fuck? Oh my god. His profile
I
pictures.
think he's with a bunch of people, but I think he had pets in his picture. That's why. Like, I think he had an
Interesting.
elephant or something. But
Odd. So you said, how's it going? And then he goes,
I
pretty
always
well,
say, how's
thanks.
it
How about
going?
you? So we're good, strong out the gate here. No complaints. Just a lie. And he said, just finished working. Also lie. About to go to relax. Did you grow up in LA? And he goes, I didn't. From Chicago, yourself, doing anything tonight. And then you fucking ghosted him. What did he do
Okay,
wrong?
okay, let me tell you. This is
Yeah,
why
please
it's
do. I'm
important.
all ears.
He said, "What are you doing anything tonight?" And the reason I don't like that is because there's a lot of guys who just get bored and they want to meet up that night. Like,
Mm.
why do you care if I'm doing anything tonight? And I knew that's where it was going. Like, are you
Was it
free
late?
tonight? Doing anything tonight? Yeah, I think it was pretty late. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, and then I was dead on being right because he wrote, "Hey Sherry baby,"
Like right,
which I
there's no time sort of things next to them, so I don't know how later on that was, or
it
was it
was still
immediately
that
after?
night. That was still the night. That night.
Is that supposed to be some kind of reference to something? Like he's got the winky face. I don't know. Is that like a song or something?
Well, I mean, clearly he was looking for hookup because he said doing anything tonight. It was late at night, and then he writes, "Hey, Sherry, baby," like,
Hmm.
two things I fucking hate.
Yeah.
Trying to hook up at middle of the night and calling me baby, and I don't even fucking know you, so I don't respond.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I see.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
and then he
a fail.
continues. This is another thing I don't understand the continuing.
Yeah,
How's
it's
your
like
Friday
swinging a
going?
miss.
And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I this is one thing I've never really understood. Like, if you don't get a response, why do you continue to message? Like, he messages again the next day. How's your Friday going? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not responding to you. I'm never going to respond to you. Why do you continue?
Yeah. Yeah. What a
So
donkey.
that
It's
was
like it might just purely be the numbers game, and he's like doesn't even know where he's at with like people. Like he may not even look at the prior messages, right? You know.
that is true. I never thought of it that way. I always just felt like they go down to everyone who hasn't responded. You're right, and probably message. But I
Hmm.
always felt like they just felt like if they keep harassing you. But then it's like, let's say I say, okay, yeah, let's hang out. After you've said all like 20 times message, I'm not answering. Like,
Yeah.
would you actually want to hang out with me? Are you that
That's
bored?
that's so weird. I don't know, man. Like, yeah, it's just like you would never like you're late at night clowning around on this thing. You would be like, oh, like maybe make plans for another day or something sensible. But these people are like, oh, like just swinging it for the fences at late at night, right?
Yeah, it's too much.
Don't they
It's
have
definitely.
websites for like people just want to hook up?
Yeah, that's why I never understand why these people do that. And that's, Tinder's known for this is Bumble, but
Oh, so Tinder's
they
more
do
like a
have,
hookup thing.
but they do. I don't know what the apps are, but there are ones that are just like hookup apps now.
Yeah, well, all these ads on the Google are telling me that there's all sorts of single women in my area that want to meet up. Apparently not. They gotta know what the fuck app that is, but
We don't actually want to meet up. We just want you to tell us how beautiful we are
just give me
online.
your credit card number and I'll meet you at the corner. Yeah, yeah. Uh,
I have a guy friend who's done that quite a few times for girls.
what's that? Give him money?
Yeah, like they'll tell him meet me at the mall, and that he does, and then he's like shocked when all they want to do is shop.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's happened.
You women are just something else.
This guy, totally another throw up. I haven't said anything. This is a different app. This is Hinge. So I liked his photo,
This is
and he
Hinge?
can,
Oh yeah.
yeah, Hinge. So he can start the conversation. If I like his photo and then he likes me, like he accepts it, then he started the conversation. This is how he started. He said, "Have a great night. Glad to be matched with you here. You have a beautiful smile. My dinner was steak, medium rare, with a bottle of red wine from 2007 to accompany it. How are you doing?"
What a fucking clown.
I didn't even respond. I was
What
like,
in the fuck is that? Like holy shit.
it's just too much.
I
It's
never
just too
realized there's
much.
so many ways to do this wrong, but these people are proving me wrong.
Yeah, there are. These are just, and this is why it's important to go through this because, like, why would you start a conversation with that? Like, what you told me, first of all, you sound arrogant as fuck.
Yeah,
You
like I
know,
just can't get around my head around these people. It's like, holy fuck, I thought I had no game. Jesus Christ.
no, I mean, you're like acing it
Apparently,
compared to
I'm a
this
smooth
bullshit.
operator compared to this fucking guy. I
Yeah,
don't know. I can only assume it's some sort of attempt to sound intelligent or cultured, right?
but also, like, I didn't ask you anything.
Yeah, like why are you telling me about your dinner? Like, holy Moses, that's literally in one paragraph. Have a great
Yep.
night. Glad to be matched with you on here. You have a beautiful smile. My dinner was like, what the fuck? I like turtles.
Yeah,
Fucking
but
dumbass.
also, like, give a person a second to say, like, how's your night going?
Anybody
And
that
then
wants
you
to
could
talk to me
say,
about wine can just fuck off. Like I don't care. I just don't. And like if it's I just don't get it. It's not impressive that you know things about wine. Like and unless you're talking to other wine people, right? But it's like cigars and other things that are like I have hobbies and interests that are like kind of niche and I rarely bring them up to people like out of the blue, you know.
well, also to think about if I just texted you and I'm like, "Hi, Lee," and you're like, "So I just had dinner. I had a rare
Ye-
bottle of."
Yeah.
If you wouldn't do it with a friend, like just like not randomly to a friend. If your mom messages you, "Hi, how are you?" and you message back, "I'm had a bottle of wine, blah blah blah." how's your day going? All this conversation without, I mean, I guess that's your normal
Like,
thing.
why is he telling you how his steak was prepared? It's in the one paragraph. Like, what a weird.
I know. I don't know how to best exemplify this, but like
Is that like a
if
bot
someone,
situation? I wonder, or this guy's just a stump.
it could be, it could be. I don't know. I don't know. But I have seen that quite often. These are ones that I brought up because I see them often. Like I haven't even said anything and you're telling me your entire life story. You know
That
what I
is
mean?
fucking weird,
So,
man. Holy.
and then if you kind of go down, because I accidentally put that one guy twice.
Oh
If you
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of go down, you see another, this is another Hinge one.
So
And
you got your
this is,
catfish picture on there. That's what they call it, right? When you're like being all hot on the fucking internet.
well, I
In
mean, there's a
reality,
new
you're at
name
home
for it.
covered in fucking cheesy poofs or whatever you're into.
It's ironic you said it because there is a ketchup stain on my current sweater.
What does it say? Start the chat with this guy. Hello, beautiful lady. Well, he's coming out strong. Would you like to meet for dinner to see if we click? Maybe Santa Monica dinner and walk overlooking the ocean. I mean, that's a little bit more normal than like let's get on a jet and go to buttfuck Indiana for whatever, but it's still weird.
It's
I don't know.
I haven't even answered
That's
that.
more acceptable to
You
me
think that's
than
acceptable?
well, it's we're heading in the right direction and we're getting away from fucking Burbank Airport guy.
but
You want to
but
shoot
it's still
craps
kind of
behind Burbank Airport.
weird. First of
Um,
all, he lived in Santa Monica, so and it says where we both live. Like mine says where I live, and
how
his
far are
lives
you
the
from
same.
Santa Monica? You figure like
Like a
ballpark.
good, like I mean, between and it depends. It could be 20 minutes, but in LA traffic, it can be an hour. I mean, technically, I'm 20 minutes away, but really, honestly, like an hour because there's always traffic. You know, I
Yeah,
mean, I'm
yeah.
exaggerating, 45 minutes,
But
but
still, like that's not. This is like inching closer to normal behavior.
you got. So I didn't even respond.
Yeah.
I
No.
thought it was
Yeah.
too much.
No. I mean, I don't know. We got to get. You should have put out some good examples, some guys with some game, because all we got here is stumps.
Well, that's what I wanted, so people know what not to do.
Oh my god, this
These are
guy.
stumps.
This. I
These
mean,
are
this isn't
stumps.
even the worst one. Like we're heading in the right direction. Let's move down to this fucking guy. How's it going? That's got to be you. Hi,
Yeah.
Sherry. I think we matched a number of times. LOL. Perhaps we can get coffee or do something else this time. It says we are 2 miles apart. What's a mile? Do you
2 miles. Oh yeah, you know what a mile is. I'm supposed to tell you.
speaking English? What do you think? He's still. Oh, I see. He's just still going. This fucking guy.
Yeah,
I
haven't
wish it
even
had the
answered.
timestamps to the side. That'd be fucking interesting. But
They used to, but I don't know. You can't find them anymore.
bastard. So it
Not
says
on
grabbing a
Bumble.
coffee. It says we are 2 miles apart. What do you think? What is about the distance apart? Maybe you're like, no, it's more like 4 miles. I prefer a casual coffee for a start. Nobody asked you. I actually have a feeling we always match. Then you don't respond. Hello, Sherry, are you there? And it says, hang on, I gotta scroll to the. Do you cut off?
Okay.
Who taught you how to crop pic? It says your persistent texts are cut off. I can't read it.
Oh, I said your persistent texts are off-putting. That's
Oh, yeah,
most likely why we haven't and won't ever meet.
get fucking shot down. Need a,
Because he never gave me a chance to respond. I'm sure that these were times apart.
yeah, these are like there's like 6 or 7 in a row. This guy.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 messages.
Yeah, so that's no good. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll put that on the no list. Like, don't just keep peppering. And then people that put a bunch of messages like stagger them instead of in one or two sort of paragraphs. Like, I don't need 9 bings going off. Like, just say your
But
piece.
these were through the day, and that's the problem. Like you didn't even give the person a minute to respond, and you just keep.
Well, I noticed that one app says
persistent.
you have 16 hours to respond. And I thought about that. I'm like, well, that makes sense. If you send it, like, say you're going to bed, you got 8 hours
It's
of
actually
sleep.
24. It's actually 24.
The one,
It was 16
it
hours
was
left.
16 back in the day.
No, it was
Oh,
16
16
hours
left.
left.
I see.
Yeah, but you get 24 on Bumble. You get 24 hours to respond,
Bumble knows this guy.
and that goes both ways. Like once I match, I have 24 hours to message them.
Right.
But then they can take as long as they want to respond. Once we've matched, they can take as long as they want to say something.
You should
But
just go on Facebook Marketplace and start looking at people that are selling like nice clothes and stuff, or people that are like selling a Lamborghini or something, right? You could be like, oh hey, like I'm just waiting for you to get caught on one of those like gold digger sort of pranks. Have you seen those?
You know, I know. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm like,
I know,
Sherry's gonna be nailed in one of these.
and I swear to God, I think about that all the time because I do always, if I see a nice car, stop and look. But
Of course you do, but the guy's like, oh hey, you want to hang out? And you're like, no, and he clicks the unlock button on his Lamborghini, and you're like,
yeah,
record scratch.
I know. But in everyone's context, I've always been a tire biter. Which, if you're not from Canada, I love cars.
Is that not a thing they say down there?
They call it something else, but I always say, "Oh, I've been a tire biter my whole life," and nobody here knows what that means. So
I wonder what else you would call it.
I don't know what they call it, but there was I actually know there's something that they say, like, I've heard people say it in LA because 'cause I've said that I explain what it is, and then, like, someone will tell me, "Oh, that's something else," but I can't remember, but a tire biter is, like, a girl who dates guys for nice cars, but I also love cars, like, I met you because I love Mustangs, you know, like,
Yeah,
so
that's
I am a
true.
car girl. Fast and the Furious is still my favorite movie, but yes, I do worry that one day I will be caught on one of those breaks because it's so up my alley to do that. It's so up my fucking alley to do that.
I'm on Urban Dictionary and I don't see any
American Tire Biter.
yeah, it's just a whole bunch of examples of how to use it in a sentence, but it doesn't give you like a
There was
thesaurus for tire biter. Where's
I
Urban
had a
Thesaurus? Get it? What if there is one?
well, I know that one of the things I've heard is called a Pittootsie.
I never heard that.
I
There
think
is an Urban Thesaurus. Hold on to your hat here. Tire biter.
Sherry.
Pillow biter. No, that can't be right. Sherry. No, none of these make sense. They're all. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what else you call it, but someone can fucking. We need like a. That's why we need like a live thing. People can like chime in and tell us stuff instead of screaming it at the radio. Uh,
I know, I
anyway,
agree with
yeah,
you.
that's. I would.
I would love that. I would love if someone could chime in and give us their 2 cents. Probably
We
shut
need
us
to have
about
it. We
that.
need to figure out like maybe even a text thing or something. But we're not doing it live, so it wouldn't really work. But we'll figure it out. But move on for
We
Sam
don't have to
Rocking.
go through all of these. I
Oh,
mean,
these
if
are just
you
train
could
wreck after train wreck. What is this?
yeah.
This guy's an idiot. Oh, it's the same deal. It's like the repeated messaging without you replying. It's okay if the whole deal is someone says something and you have X amount of time to reply, they don't reply. Like, how much more clear could a person be?
Well, so once you message, the person has time. So, like, once I start the chat, then there's time. On Hinge, I think it's 1 week for the conversation to go back and
But
forth.
you're
I don't know
still
what it
like
is.
the ball is in that person's court now to reply. Like, why does this
Yes.
guy keep peppering you with response when you haven't replied? It's like the whole app is like say something, get a reply, and then if you don't in a certain amount of time, you unmatch. It's like, well, these people are still messaging you
Well, no, no,
repeatedly.
once we match and the conversation started, there's no unmatching. I have to physically unmatch with them.
So you
They
match
just
with these people and then they keep messaging you?
mhm, mhm. I have 24 hours to message them. And now Bumble has before guys couldn't message girls, and now I don't know what the because I'm not a guy, I don't know.
Hmm.
But now guys can message, like you can have like a saying, like mine says like what's an ideal date or something like I can't remember what it says, but they can comment on that, and I think they have to pay for it, and then I have 24 hours to respond. But
Uh,
once we both like started that conversation, there's no timing. So the fact that they continue to pepper messages is
mhm.
just like the whole point in us even going through this is just like give people the moment to respond, and if they're not responding, they've decided they don't want to move forward. Like
Yeah,
peppering
yeah,
someone with messages is not gonna make you want to what like, it's not gonna make that person want to they obviously have shown you they're not interested.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if they do agree to meet up with you now, they're just doing it because 'cause they're bored,
yeah,
1, or they're just in the mood for something, like, sexually, or they're just using you. It's not a natural thing, you know what I mean? They didn't
yeah.
have a conversation with you, wanna continue a conversation, and then meet up.
I think the important thing people need to realize is like you almost have to look at how things look out of context. Like, do you come like in a situation like this where someone's reading your messages? How does it come across? Like, do you think it comes across desperate or whatever? And I try to think about that when I write something or say something because as you and I, we always joke and say things and whatever. We don't really care. I
Mhm.
try to like think about what I'm saying and like maybe a third party looking in at it and how does it come across? Because sometimes I'm like, oh, that kind of seems a bit harsh or like it's I you know I think if people on these apps like maybe considered how it would look to someone reading it and they might approach it a little bit differently.
That's actually such a good piece of advice. Like, you really do have to think about what the overall context is of what you're saying. Like,
Yeah,
if you're calling someone like a pet name right off the bat, like you're actually making that person, if they respond, lower themselves because that it's like they're seeking attention and approval. And that's why you calling me baby is okay. You know what I mean? And you
yeah,
are right. The context of it is, and the context of it isn't always thought through. Like people are just trying to like connect so desperately
yeah, yeah,
and they're not actually thinking about how they're being perceived. And that actually is really important. And you are right. Like even me too. Like I know the way I talk is very harsh. So there's certain people in my life like they're like, "Oh, did you mean that in a heart?" And I was like, "No, like I'll use words like always or like, and I have a girlfriend who's like, "Don't say always, like, you make me sound like I'm always an asshole," but that's just how I talk, or
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I talk in, like, the extremes and definites, and, I use wording that I is a little aggressive because that's my natural toning, but
yeah.
people the context of it gets lost, and it comes off and perceived a different way, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's the best way of, like, when you're sending a message online, and you really have to think about how it's going to be perceived. Like, if you continue to message someone who's not responding,
Yeah.
you're just seeming desperate.
Well, that's
It's
exactly what I was gonna say. These messages just seem desperate to me. Like you say, like they're late or they're like some of these are 9 p.m., 11 p.m., right? This kind of stuff, 1 a.m., right? Like it just think about like is that how you would want to be perceived in real life by anyone? Or like are you just like what I meant, like you saying just crazy shit because it's online and like who cares? I don't know. Like I would think
the
about how that's gonna look,
exactly. Exactly, like, you wouldn't text someone at 1 a.m. and ask them, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
unless you're wanting a booty call,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if that's your context and then that person doesn't respond, don't continue messaging them. They pretty much told you, "I don't want a booty call." Like, that's what happened with one of them, right? Like,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
he's asking me, "What are you doing tonight?" and it's 9 or 10 o'clock at night, I'm not gonna respond. Like, it's you're pretty much saying booty call and then being shocked that you're not getting a response after that because you didn't look at the context. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he was just asking me how my night was. But
W
the way he worded it made me think he was going to ask me to hook up. And
Yeah.
then he got no
Well,
response.
and
So
then
you have to
exactly, right
think
out the
about it.
gate, you're fucked because if that's how you come across, like if I was gonna message someone late, I'd be like, "Hey, it's late. I work weird hours or whatever, so I was just, I see we matched or something like that." Like, make a plan for the future. Don't be like, "It's 1 a.m. What are you doing right now?" Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
who's the
No, it's
I don't
true.
I know we probably got to cut it off here pretty soon, but who's the well, I guess you can use their names, but I'm trying to think how to
Go ahead, use me.
there's a few named Daniel. There's a bunch of them named Daniel, I think, but the
Oh.
guy looks he's old as fuck. Oh, you know what? I think it's a fucking like a meme or something. It looks like a
I know
butler
you're
in a
talking about
haunted mansion, right?
having a nice Thursday, that one, no complaints.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Who's this guy? It looks like Crypt Keeper's
Yeah.
dad.
Then he tells me this is another thing. Like, again, like, I said, "Did you grow up in LA?" He goes, "Yes, hanging out with some buddies. We're going to the peninsula next." Then he says another restaurant, then a spot after. "Here's my cell phone number. Do you want to join?" Like,
So that's how
that
you
is,
get a serial killer documentary.
yes, yes. Or like, I'm sorry, but like what you say, and I'm just gonna get the fuck up and run and come out with your friends. I'm not 15 anymore. I would do that at 20. In my
Yeah,
20s, I did it because I was just looking for some fun. But we're in our like almost 40s. Like, if
yeah.
unless you're looking for a good time, I'm not coming out like that. Like, it's
Yeah,
just
I can't imagine. I can't help but think it's just some sort of like dragnet approach to dating.
oh, yeah, that's why it's good that we're calling these out because if some guy's listening, then he'll think, "Ah, maybe I won't just tell someone what
Well,
we're
maybe
doing
we should
together for
wrap it up with
dinner."
a couple pointers then, because from where I'm sitting, like if I was looking at these as good examples of what not to do, I think like we've talked about throughout this is like ask sort of open-ended questions, ask about them, keep it short and sweet, don't go on a rant like a total tangent right out the gate. I think those
Yes.
kind of things are important. Like just how you would if you bumped into someone in like a bar. Oh, hey, how are you? And blah blah blah. Like just a little bit of like the small answer, like 2 3 sentences. Ask them a question. Kind of keep it on topic. Don't go on this crazy tangent about anything. And then don't be putting up crazy shit about how your steak was cooked, like unless someone asks you, right? Like try and keep it surface level, but polite and like sort of open ended, give the other person a chance to say something, especially as a guy, because there's a guy like 90% of the time we're doing the pursuing, I'm sure. Right. So give the girl a chance to like, let her know that you're interested in the answer, not just talking nonsense. Like ask her a question and listen to the answer and then reply like accordingly. Don't just wait for your opening to say some whatever you're trying to do, whatever your move's going to be about your steak or whatever.
Yeah, and that's like another thing, like, too, like, don't when they like that guy, like, he just started like as if we were already talking. He went on about his whole life. It just came off as copy and paste. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem engaged. So
Right.
when that's another thing, like, and I actually know I had a guy friend be like, "Oh, I try to start the like all in. Like, I try to to show interest." He actually thought it was showing interest by being like, after someone says, "How are you?" they just go on and on about everything they did that day. And I'm like, actually, no, because when I read it, it's exactly like you said, the context, I think you just copy and pasted that 10 times.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem engaged into this conversation. It just seems like you're overall, exactly like you said, throwing a bunch of darts and hoping for something to stick,
Well,
right?
do you know those like say these people call you from like a visa place and they want to give you their spiel? It's like
Mhm.
that where like they want to say it all before you have a chance to be like, no thanks,
Yeah.
I'm not interested. That's what it
Yeah.
comes across like. It's like just you got time, you don't have to get it all out in 10 seconds. Like just ask the questions and let the person say their bit and tell you about themselves. You don't have to get everything in one paragraph before they have a chance to reply to the first thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And make sure that you're reciprocating the questions. That's so
Yeah.
important.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. Like, don't just be one-sided. I would be trying to draw information out of the person I'm interested in talking to. I wouldn't be looking for an opportunity to tell them how great I am.
exactly, exactly. And I think another really big point is don't use pet names. Like,
Yeah,
we're
that's
not all
fucked. Get out
sitting
of here.
here. It just makes us, if we respond, like the reason I say babe's a pig, because I don't know what else to fucking say. I don't want to
Yeah.
accept your little pet name because it makes me feel like an idiot seeking such type of attention. You know what I mean?
I
So,
think it's just like people taking their best shot at what they think is comes across as confidence or something. I don't know what it would be, but
or like I think they think, like when I take it like the way I perceive it too, I think guys think when I like it's like a smooth move when they're like,
yeah.
"Hey baby,"
Yeah.
and then I'm like, "Well, I'm not that pathetic." Like,
No. I
you
don't
know,
think
I'm
it's
not.
I mean, pickup lines are funny, but I don't think they ever work, you know.
No, no, they don't work. Like, I mean, like everybody wants to be someone's babe, but a specific someone, not everybody's.
Yeah,
And
just
I
it
think,
it's just I think it's probably a lot of guys with little confidence, and then they're online and they feel a bit more confident, and they're just swinging for the fences.
yeah, I think my last point would be don't continue to message when someone's not responding.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
not because they didn't see it or they got busy. If they were going to reply to you, they were going to reply. So save your dignity,
yeah, yeah,
Daniel.
and
Fuck.
and don't just like come out right off the bat with like, meet me here, let's do this, because
Yeah.
that again
Like,
also
okay,
comes off as
serial killer.
desperate. Yeah, well, listen, I'm not trying to be on Dateline one, but
Yeah,
but
not
two,
for
also
that.
it makes you seem desperate, like you're just willing to go out with anybody. I just had that today. This guy said, "Hey, how's it going?" He said, "Do you eat?" And I said, "What kind of question?" He's like,
What
and
in
then
the
he said,
fuck?
"Dinner Friday at whatever time." And I was like, "Well, I'm not that desperate. Like, you didn't ask me one fucking. I don't want to go out for dinner with someone who just wants to go to dinner with anybody. I want to go to
Yeah.
dinner with someone who got to know me a little bit through text. I mean, we don't have to talk. Even one day is enough. Like, just ask
Yeah.
me some questions, show that you're interested, and then ask me out, because then I'm gonna feel like you want to go out with me and not just anybody. That's
Yeah, it's
the
like, what do
difference.
you got? Like, this isn't Twitter. You're not limited to 140 characters or less.
Yes, yes, that's true.
You, me, sex? Yes?
First bite. First
Yeah,
bite to
like,
eat, then
do you
sex.
eat? I'm putting that in my fucking my book of moves.
Yeah.
Hello, female. Do you make intercourse?
But yeah, but those are my last points. Do you have any last points?
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm glad I'm married and I'm not dealing with this shit. I wonder what like the I can't
What's the word?
imagine like the sites for like gay people would be nearly as
Oh, my
barbaric as
cousin
this.
sends them to me. It's way worse.
Is it really? I would have
Yeah.
thought the gay people I know are like way more like upmarket cultured people, they look after themselves and they're like, they're just like way more just with it. Like they feel like they seem to like
I wouldn't say it's worse, it's just it's at par, but the only thing that's different is on these apps. On Bumble you can. So it might be happening on Bumble a little bit more, but on the other apps, as far as I know, you can't send a photo, and so on the one of the apps that I know someone who's gay is on, they do send photos. Yeah,
it's just like a
unsolicited,
flurry of dick pics or what?
unsolicited. Yeah, like not asked.
You
They
gay
just
people
go
are letting
for
me
it.
down.
Yeah.
I had you guys up on a pedestal. Like you're way more
Yeah.
cultured and like look after yourselves and just like way more like with it. And no, you're just a bunch of animals out there trying to fuck.
Yeah, yeah, and
Piss,
I've heard
piss.
that from a friend of mine, and I also like my cousin's on the apps, and he has conversations with people, and they're the same type of conversations as mine. Like
That's
they just go
interesting.
out like dinner, this, that. Like they're not like actual, because he wants to like get to be known too, right? Like they don't ask a lot of questions. He gets like a lot of that stuff. But I have another guy friend. He just gets like bombarded with like dick pics 24/7. He's like, I never even asked for these. Like they're just he goes nuts. He's like he's really looking for a relationship,
Mhm.
And he says that, like, I just open the apps and it's like 24/7 photos.
That's
No
crazy.
conversation. Yeah. Yeah, he
Hmm.
gets really mad. So
Nobody
it
wants
can be
dicks
just as
don't look
bad.
good. I don't care who you are. They're not.
Or vaginas. I mean,
I suppose not. They're probably not like yeah, it's not really,
it's just nobody
someone
wants those
they don't photograph well.
unsolicited. It's different if they ask for it, but they were unsolicited. I know he tells me all the time. He's like, I literally like ask a guy how's it going, and that's what I get as a response.
That's crazy.
So yeah. All right. Well, then next week we have your girlfriend and then my guy friend, and then we're gonna compare their experiences online.
I'm sure it will be nothing short of a train wreck.
And guys, don't forget to follow us on the perfect underscore X on Instagram, and then the perfect X, that's the letter X, guys, on Spotify and Apple and TikTok.
Do we have the TikTok? I don't even know.
We have the TikTok.
Hmm. We
All right.
are, follow us on MySpace.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. Or Facebook. But yeah, I'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.